working on a best of 2020. Well, not best of because you haven't seen them, right? But our most anticipated movies of 2025 video will be coming out tomorrow, which I'm excited about that. Currently editing it. It's like 15 minutes long almost, but I think it'll be edited down to 13 minutes. One of the things I'm trying to work on this year is definitely making a bit longer form content, really diving deep into things. And that's one of the things I want to be doing on Monday with a series I just finished, which we'll talk about it then. But if you're watching the stream right now, that's pretty much what we're just doing here, is just going down a list of movies that I can think of from the top of my head. Some of them I already talked about in the video today, which I think is 2025 is setting up to be a really good year for movies. 2024 was just amazing. I already did my best of 2024 video if you want to go check that out. And in terms of horror, I already did a video for that, as well as January releases, because January is already coming in strong. We have the Wolfman this year. We also have Companion, well, just in January, right? Companion is the new Sophie Thatcher and Jack Quaid movie from the people who did Barbarian, which gets me very excited for that one. There's been a teaser, there's a trailer, and everything out for it already. And Sophie Thatcher seems to be on this like role of thrillers and horror, and she's always great in them. So I'm excited to see her in this movie. Lucas Gage is in it as well, and Jack Quaid, of course, from The Boys, always doing a great job. He was in Scream as well, which I'm excited to see him come back to like a horror movie thriller, because I think he was great in Scream. And so I'm excited to see what Jack Quaid, Sophie Thatcher, the people behind Barbarian are going to do in Companion, which comes out at the end of this month. Now, in the coming weeks, we do have The Wolfman, which is like the big first release of the year, I guess you could say. And that is definitely going to be the movie that I think sets the tone for the rest of the year. It is directed by Lee Wano, who did The Invisible Man a couple of years ago, which was a movie that surprised me a lot. He also did an under the radar film, which I think didn't get as much love as it should, which is Upgrade. And of course, he is a writer and one of the people behind Saw alongside James Wan. So Lee Wano has always done some great work, and I'm excited to see what he's going to do with The Wolfman. I know the first trailer really got to me. A lot of people were talking about the premiere or the look of the Wolfman being showcased last year at Hollywood, not Hollywood, but Halloween Horror Nights in Universal Studios. A lot of people weren't feeling that look, and I don't know. I think it looked kind of scary, and you got to think about it with the effects and everything. I think the Wolfman's gonna look good. This Universal Monsters revival seems to be great. We do have two Frankenstein movies this year as well. Maggie Gyllenhaal's directorial. The Bride, which is going to focus more on the Bride of Frankenstein. And then you also have Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein, in which you have Oscar Isaac playing Victor Frankenstein and Jacob Elordi playing Frankenstein's monster. So that's going to come out a little later in September. Like, we're still a bit away from that. January brings us the film The Wolfman, and it also brings us Companion in terms of horror. We have some other horror movies or thrillers coming to streaming in January, which are Red Rooms, which I'm going to be doing a video on that next week. And you also have Grafted, which is a body horror movie that is going to be coming out as well on streaming, both on Shudder. So if you have Shudder and all of that, or you want to check out those movies, they'll be streaming this month as well. So like I said in the video for January is proving this year that it's not just the month where movies are just sent out to just do nothing. January has some pretty solid movies, and I'm excited about that. It has Better Man, which is the Robbie Williams biopic / musical of sorts, which I got to watch. I did not know about Robbie Williams like that, and after watching the musical biopic, I feel like I wanted to go listen to Robbie Williams, and I did. It was so great. Even though he is a CGI monkey in the movie, it works 100%. Trust me about that, which is going to be interesting. I think how people react to that one. But it's just like 2025, you move on to February and you already have Captain America Brave New World, which looks semi-interesting. I've just been conflicted on it because the MCU has been like in a weird place. But then after that in March, you also have the Robert Pattinson Bong Joon-ho film, which is Mickey 17th, which looks really good. And then the summer rolls around and you get films like Superman, you get 28 Years Later, and you just start getting into these very great blockbusters for the year. And that's what's really selling me that 2025 could just be a better year in film than 2024. And 2024 already set the bar high, because I thought 2024 was definitely one of those years that was just unbelievable when it came to films. There's so many films I watched in 2024, and I loved almost all of them. I'm somebody who just finds something to really love and appreciate in each movie, and 2024 really tested that because there were so many great things that came out. But the movie I'm really looking forward to is this Wolfman movie that is going to come out in a couple of weeks, because I think that Lee Wano really did a great job with The Invisible Man, with really making it feel different and new at the same time. It didn't try to go back and do what we've already seen before. I thought the twist on the story and everything with this man trying to stalk this woman and becoming invisible and all of that was definitely a very great way to do it. So I'm curious to see what he's going to do with the Wolfman and how he's going to make that sort of twist and sort of fit into our world, which is going to be great to see. And then with Companion, it's a movie that I know nothing of. Like, I've seen the trailer, the teaser, I have looked at pictures as I'm doing this video right now, and I still have no clue what it's about. I just know it's Sophie Thatcher, it's the people behind Barbarian, it's Jack Quaid, and it just looks like it's going to be very, like, filled with twists and turns, but in a good way. You know, Barbarian was one of those movies, I remember seeing the trailer, and I was just like, I don't know if that movie's gonna do it. Like, I just feel like that movie is trying to do too much and all of that. I went in, I sat down, I watched this movie with a crowd of people. It was like 2022, and there was a ton of people at the theater. And as soon as that movie goes, and it just completely just does that big twist halfway through, everybody lost their minds, and I was losing my mind too, because I was like, what is this movie? Barbarian was just incredible. All I had seen was the little trailer or the teaser that made us think this was like an Airbnb type like horror thriller, and then it completely turns into something else. So that's what I'm thinking Companion's gonna be like, and I think Sophie Thatcher and Jack Quaid are really gonna sell it because they're such great actors, and it's just been a great year as well for, I think, Sophie Thatcher, who continues to be in stuff. She was in Maxine, and she was also in Heretic, and then this year she's gonna be in Yellow Jackets, which is another show we're gonna start talking about even more, because I love that show. If you haven't watched it, I highly recommend it if you like a good thriller mixed in with a bit of, I would say, theatrics in there. That's all I'll say about that show. But it definitely is a show I really enjoy. Appreciate everybody watching this. If you love movies, talking about pop culture and all that, make sure you check out our channel, our videos we have up, and subscribe to it. We got a ton of things coming this year. But yeah, so that is for January what we have there. It is filled with some pretty interesting horror films that are coming to streaming as well. Like I said, Grafted is this new body horror film that got a release over on some festivals last year. Did an incredible job at those festivals, and then it released, I think, theatrically in some areas, but now it is coming to streaming. I'm excited to watch this. I have not watched this one, and I've been wanting to. I've been looking for it everywhere. I'm excited it's finally coming to streaming, and we'll talk about it. I believe it comes out in 2 weeks, but we also have the film Red Rooms, which is a thriller film that came out a couple years ago, I think, at some festivals. I had the chance to watch this one last year. I think I did a review for it. Audio is kind of wonky. I want to go and redo it. That's how I feel about a lot of videos, but I will do a whole video talking about everything in that film, because there's so much to dissect and talk about. That is one of the most horrifying movies I saw all last year. Truly gets under your skin. If you're a fan of like David Fincher style and a very cold and calculated movie, then that film is really good. It's by a director named Pascal Plante, and really does the great job at building tension and all of that. But this year, we also do have The Black Phone 2, which is maybe my most anticipated horror film of the whole year, just because I really did love what Scott Derrickson did with the first Black Phone film. And the new Black Phone 2 is a continuation, like right after the events of the previous film. So I'm curious what they want to do with that. I already made a video talking about some of the plot points that Scott Derrickson talked about, but I'll go briefly over it here. You basically have the Black Phone 2 being a sequel to the original Black Phone, with everybody returning, even Ethan Hawke as the grabber, which was immediately like, what are they doing here? And I was very contemplating. I was very contemplating. That doesn't even make sense. But I was contemplating if this was going to be good or not. But according to Scott Derrickson for the Black Phone 2, the writer who did the original story for the Black Phone, who is Stephen King's son, already had this idea sort of fleshed out. And they brought it to Scott Derrickson as well as Cargill, who is the writer. And they worked on it together. So if the writer for the original story says, we got something here, I think we do got something here. Let me check my uh, battery there. I want to see how much battery I have. I need to charge my phone better more, right? But that is the Black Phone 2, which is coming out this year in the fall. You're going to be following the same characters again, but the kids and all of that, instead of being in middle school, they're going to be in high school now. And the grabber, in some shape, way, or form, is still trying to get them. And I'm curious what that's going to look like or how that's going to feel like. But thank you to everybody who's watching right now. Really appreciate you. Like I said, make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell. If you love to talk about movies and pop culture and all that, thanks. And if you already subscribed, appreciate you so much. But yeah, the Black Phone 2 is definitely one of those movies that I'm super excited to see what Scott Derrickson has like cooked up for us, right? And I think that we are going to be in for something interesting. We also have The Gorge, which is the other Scott Derrickson film coming out this year. It has Miles Teller as well as Anya Taylor-Joy. That is coming out on Valentine's Day. It is going to be in, I think, it's an Apple exclusive, I believe. So it should be on Apple TV. Apple TV is one of those like things that I come to every now and then because they have something I want to watch, and I'm not ever really like subscribed to it 100%. But I'm definitely interested in seeing this movie, The Gorge, which you have Miles Teller playing like a secret agent who is on this side of like there's like this like canyon that's dividing both of them, and each one of them have like a post. Like Miles Teller's on one side of the canyon, Anya Taylor-Joy's on the other side of the canyon, and they're just guarding it, and that's all they can do. They can't speak to each other, they can't communicate, but they still do. And then ultimately they're trying to find out like what's inside the canyon, like what are we trying to protect, right? And ultimately we see that one of them ends up like getting a little bit too close to the canyon, and then the other one has to go and help the other one, and it just turns out that there's more in this canyon than they would have thought, and it just turns into a horrifying show, it seems. This one's going to be coming out very soon in February 14th, right on Valentine's. So I'm excited for both Scott Derrickson films. I think he has a very interesting eye when it comes to directing. Just checking out my battery right there. And thank you again to everybody watching. We're just talking about 2025 and some of the films that are coming out. I just wanted to do a quick live because I wasn't able to finish my video. But that will be up tomorrow, my video. I promise y'all. 2 videos tomorrow because we missed today. But tomorrow we'll have the 2025 movies I'm excited for. That includes all the big names that are going to be releasing as well. And then, of course, 28 years later, that's the video everybody is talking about on the channel, or one of them, and the trailer has gotten to us all. I expect a new trailer, by the way, for 28 years later for the Super Bowl. So in about a month's time, I think we're going to get a new trailer. We're going to discuss it and dissect everything we can from it. But this movie, 28 years later, has me very intrigued. I've been researching some stuff about Danny Boyle and Alex Garland and where the story could potentially go, and I'm going to be reporting back on that until we get a new trailer, because I don't think I have enough material to make a video as long as I want to make it for that. I don't want to just be dropping a ton of videos. I want to make them long enough, give enough context, give enough information, things like that. But really appreciate everybody who's here. We'll be on for like 2 more minutes because I need to charge my phone and go finish this video that I'm editing. But I just want to hop on the live, say thank you to everybody who has subscribed to the channel, who has watched videos, who's watching this live. I really appreciate you taking the time to watch this, because you could just be doing anything else you want to do and you're here watching the live. So that means a lot to me, honestly. I truly am grateful for each and every one of you, and just talking about 2025 gets me super excited. I want to introduce new things to the channel, so stay tuned for that. But this whole live will go back up in a bit as a video, so if you missed the first part where we talked a couple of movies, you definitely want to go check that out. But as always, I really appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you for watching. Make sure you subscribe and make sure you follow us. We got a ton of surprises coming. Have a good night and Happy New Year.